Good morning and happy day. I am Meryl Blau and I'm here today because I have decided that I am ready to put so many things that I have been bottling up and holding on to inside of me and start to bring it to the outside world. It is a little bit scary, it's a little bit new, but part of my goals of 2020 is to start taking action on the things that I wish I would have done a long time ago. So just a little bit of background about me. I actually come from the advertising industry in what I call my previous life. It was kind of the early part of my career. I started with a graphic design background and found my way into advertising. And to be quite honest, the most inspiring part of being in that industry for me was really getting to delve into the creative work and work with other creatives. I never felt really compelled where the work had to all be my own, but the ability to be able to bring out ideas in others and see ideas rise, it really just, it lit me up inside. And so eventually I decided that if that was the part that I loved the most, then that was what I was going to focus on. So I took that passion and I brought it to the classroom, became a professor of advertising, and started teaching creative courses inside University of Miami. And I have been there for over 12 years, inspiring, shaping, and helping creatives really prosper in their careers and in their lives. And it has been so incredibly fulfilling. On a personal note, I have been on a journey in my own self-discovery for as long as I can remember. Early in my 20s, I really started to identify things that didn't feel good to me physically, and started on this search for ways of being able to become a healthier version of myself and a stronger version of myself. It definitely went through trials and tribulations, some good, some not so good, and through a lot of just personal experience. I can proudly sit here in my 40s to say to you that I don't think that I've ever been so grounded, so strong, and so mindful in my life. I have competed 3 times in fitness competitions. I actually never won. I never got a trophy and I never cared. I was always about my own personal development and my own growth and being able to push my own boundaries. And that was really all it was for me, is always about getting to the next level. So I sit here having conversations with people about all different facets of life, from how to be just better in our day-to-day, how to succeed in busy life. I'm a mom of 2 and wife, and we juggle a lot. We're in a stage where our kids are doing 1,000 things, and we're forever moving and making all of the pieces fit in life. I am a full-time professor. I am a part of the network marketing industry. I have a passion for my own personal growth and development. I'm up every day in the gym first thing in the morning. And I tell you all of this because I really want you to understand who I am and where I'm coming from when I say to you that it is my goal to stop keeping my mentorship and my ideas inside. It's been too long where I have sat with things where I wish that I would have the wherewithal to just make a video and put it out there for people to see. And it's funny because really at the end of the day, probably we're not the only ones, right? There's a lot of people out there wanting to share, but it's scary to get on a video and feel like you're going to be judged, and who knows what who's going to say or what people are going to think. And so we kind of cower away from this world that we're pretty much living in right now, where the inevitable is that we share and we connect through digital media. And as an advertising professor, it's kind of like, well, why would you shy away from that? Instead, I'm really trying to embrace it and be bold in my own actions. I am somebody who considers myself a student of the world, and I love to learn and I love to be involved in all of that stuff that has to do with feeding your soul and feeding your brain and ideas and whatnot. But a student who is forever perpetually learning without really taking those massive action steps to put them into play, really, at the end of the day, you're probably just a really good note taker. Maybe you could sit around with some friends and family and, kick around some ideas that you have. But if you're actually not applying it, like, what's the point? And so, it wasn't all that long ago, somebody said to me, Meryl, maybe it's time to kind of take a break from some of the learning and start really just applying, right? So while I do love to learn and I do make time every day in my morning to fill myself with something educational, I've decided that I'm not going to spend my time where I have those pieces of my day to be giving myself to others. I'm not going to spend that time continuing to learn right now. Yes, I will learn a little every day, but what I can give back at this point really is what's most important. So I'm here really to introduce myself and to let you know that my 2020 and my new decade goal is to really be a lot more forward with getting out there and putting all of the things that I have learned in my life and the things that I'm seeing and the ideas that I have into the world. And I'm proud to be able to do that. So today I really just wanted to start by, giving some tips to those who may be like me, where maybe you've been learning a lot about like what to do or thinking about the idea of, starting something fresh or new or just trying to put yourself out there, and it gets really scary, and therefore you do a lot of talking about it, but very little in terms of the actions that you take on a daily basis to move yourself towards what it is you're trying to do. So my hope today was, there's a lot of different facets of what we can talk about, but I really just wanted to zero in on making that leap from the things that we learn to applying them into things that we do. So, obviously, anything that we want to do usually starts with coming to you with like a why, right? And everybody talks about the why and why are you doing this and why is it important to you? And to be quite honest, nothing that I'm about to say to you in terms of these tips of taking action mean anything if you have know why. If you don't know why you're doing, if you don't know why this is important to you, you're never going to follow through with anything, no matter how hard you try to put things into action. So while I'm not going to spend time in how to find your why, we can definitely do a talk another time about that. I do really encourage that if you're somebody who's trying to take action, the first thing you really have to do is get really clear about why it's important to you that you're taking those actions, and dig deep, because typically what it is on the surface is not what it really is down below. And so when you start to really feel it in your gut, and when you're kind of crying from the inside that you have to do something, that is really when that action takes a whole different level of motivation and willingness to follow through with something. So assuming that you have your why and you're interested in taking action or moving forward in your life, that's where we're going to start today. So my tips are pretty simple, but sometimes we just need to hear them in a way that maybe we haven't heard them before, or maybe from a person we haven't heard them before. And so this is kind of where I want to go with this. So if you have a pen, cool, take it out, take some notes. My talks, my plan is to always give you something that you can take away and try to apply. And, so if you have a little notebook, great. And so here it goes. So you have your why. So the first thing that I want you to really think about is committing to your actions for a committed amount of time. So putting a time frame on things is maybe a little scary, but at the same time, it creates a definitiveness to what you're committing to. It is not vague. It is very clear and very defined. So if you're trying to create new habits, if you're trying to break a habit, if you are trying to get better in your nutrition or in your fitness, or you are trying to build a business, or whatever it may be, if you're a student and you're just trying to build better habits in your everyday life, whatever it is, commit to a time frame. Everybody says, it takes 21 days to create a habit. Some people say longer. Some people don't believe that's true. I do believe that there is a lot to be said for a minimum of 21 days. I prefer at least 30 or 60. 30, I think, is a pretty round number. It's like, okay, this month I'm gonna do this, or 6 weeks I'm gonna do this, and I'm really gonna make sure that I show up and I do it every single day. So putting a time frame on what you're going to do and defining exactly what it is that you're going to do in that time is really important. Getting really clear with their goals and making them super specific. The specifics are the difference between the measure of success or failure, because the more vague something is, the harder it becomes to measure, the easier it is to cheat, the easier all of a sudden it just falls by the wayside. So getting really clear and being very specific about what it is you're trying to do. Also, when it comes to that, you want to create a level of accountability. So it's one thing for me to say to myself, hey, I'm going to do this thing for the next 30 days. But for me to say that to you is something very different. And it was, I have worked with coaches, and I work with coaches, and I have friends and family, and I have done a lot of things where I have committed in that world of accountability, and somebody who I have to answer to. Right now, I have an accountability partner, just somebody that I met, kind of fiery like me, somebody who had her own goals, and it was a great opportunity for us to say, you know what, how about once a week we just check in and we set goals and we hold each other accountable for what we said we were going to do. It doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to cost money. What you need is somebody who you can trust, that is actually going to be honest with you, or to push you when you didn't uphold your end of the bargain. You didn't do the things you said you were going to do. So set the goals and then find somebody that is going to keep you accountable for it. Next thing is really to, like I said, create the structure. What are the guidelines? And make these things something that is going to stretch you, something that feels like it's out of your comfort zone. But at the same time, you don't want to set yourself up for failure. You don't want to make something so hard or so unreasonable that you never are going to follow through. You have to find that sweet spot between, really stretching yourself to a place where you feel like you're having to get uncomfortable in order to succeed. However, you know that the willingness to get uncomfortable, you will still do it. If you're not going to do it and you're going to, go all out for 2 days, and then you're just going to be like, whoa, this is too much, then, you might want to reevaluate the structure of what it is you're trying to do. For me, this video content that I'm starting to create, this is everything for me, and this is my commitment to you. This is about me saying once a week I am going to upload one of these videos. And to be honest, I actually made a video that was yesterday, and it was the same talk, but the video just totally didn't work. And my first promise was that it was going to be up on Monday, and every Monday it's going to be up. And that's cool in theory, but you know what? If you don't have any flexibility to that structure, then we automatically just assume that we fail, we shut down, and that's the end of our commitment to the actions we're trying to take. So last night I tried to convert the video. I tried to do things to be able to put it up, and Monday was a failure. It was a time where I had to lay down, go to sleep, and call it a day. So what did I do? I woke up this morning, again, tried to fix the video, but I spent about 5 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna spend more time trying to fix this than just remake it. And chances are, when we do something the second time, it's probably better than the first time anyway. So I just dumped the old video, and I said, fine, let's do it the right way. Let's get it done. Let's get it up there. It's not Monday, but who cares? I didn't give these talks a title, at least not yet, that it's a Monday thing. So if it's Tuesday, great. Show yourself some grace. Understand that you can have flexibility in your goals as long as you're actually doing what you said you were going to do. Now, this is something that you said you were going to do daily, and this isn't a once a week thing, it's a daily habit. Yeah, I have those too. And guess what? No excuses. If it's a thing, it's a 10-minute thing you want to do every day. You want to learn to meditate. You want to do some sort of priming exercise. You want to, do 20 minutes on the treadmill. If it's an everyday thing, then you have to show up and you have to do it every day until it becomes a habit. If you can't get it in at the time you said, fine, choose another time. If you miss it one day, you have to know that is like, okay, I didn't, but today I'm going to get back up and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. The more days that go by in a habit you're trying to create that's supposed to be daily and you don't do it, you're going to fall right off that slide. Okay, so yes, that third thing is about implementing daily, making sure that no matter what, you find a way to get that into your system and really start to create those habits. It's amazing because there was a morning meditation that I decided I was going to start to do. It required that I back up my alarm. I was already getting up at 5 a.m. and I had to slowly creep back my alarm to be able to make sure that I had enough time to do the priming meditation that I wanted to do in my mornings without it interrupting the next part of my schedule, which was to be in the gym by 5:15, 5:20. So I had to keep backing up my alarm, and it took a little while. But you know what? Every day creates consistency, and consistency creates the habits. And so here I am. I started that in November, and it's January, and I never miss a day. And it feels so good to my soul. And I know the difference in a day when I take that time and when I don't. And I actually feel bad when I miss it because I feel like there's a part of me that is missing at this point when those days go by. So, really getting clear about like what you want and knowing that you're going to be better for it and will help you create that priority to get it done. So last but not least, once you start, and once you start getting into whatever your actions are, do it again, do it every day. And then, take the time to also assess, measure what's going on. Are you happy? Is this what you hoped for? Are you getting the results you wanted? Make changes if it's not. If it's too much of a struggle, ask yourself why. If it's not getting done, ask yourself why. Is it that it really doesn't mean that much to you? Is it that you have, set your expectations too high for what you're really capable of doing at this point? Or is it that you're not carving out the time because you don't find it to be a priority yet? And if it becomes about time, we all have the same 24 hours in the day, but you can slice that up however you want. Like I said, I get up at 4:40 every single day. And because I have certain priorities that I want to make sure that nobody can ever take away from me, I make sure all of those things are done before I ever speak to another family member in my house. My kids are still asleep. My husband's still asleep. And by the time I'm waking them up, I know that precious time that I need to get myself, really straight for my day has already been accomplished. So, if it's not going the way you want, assess the situation, make adjustments, and then try again. Don't quit on yourself is the real heart of this message. You have to allow yourself grace to fall down, get up, and try again. But without action, you are just a student of the world. You are somebody who is forever going to learn about these ideas and these things, or, you know, have these desires of what is possible. But if you never work to implement them, if you never move yourself forward, you're never going to find that satisfaction of what it means to really start to grow from the inside out. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that maybe you were able to take a little something away from it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I will be here every week, and I look forward to talking to you soon.